What is going on YouTube? It's your boy NevinTheBarber, and in today's YouTube video I'm going to be covering a blowout taper. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and set this first guideline right where my client's earlobe's at, followed by no guard lever all the way open. And right above this guideline, I'm going to go ahead and take my number 2 guard with the lever all the way closed. So this is now cutting the hair down to a short number 2 guard length. And this is really just creating a foundation, that way it can blend into the bulk. And I really like this fading system right here because with the number 2 guard open, followed by some clipper over comb, you guys can blend straight into the bulk, as you can see how I just did. And now I'm going to erase that middle guideline using the blur guard all the way open. And with the blur guard, it's basically like the half guard, but when you angle it at a certain corner, you can cut up to the 1.5 guard length. And I'm just shortening my cutting stroke little by little as I close that lever. And I really like this fading system right here because you guys won't find yourself struggling to erase that initial trimmer guideline. And before I blend out that last guideline, I'm going to go ahead and create the C-cups on my client. And I'm just keeping it right at my client's natural hairline. That way this haircut can last as long as possible. And this is the new ES5 blade by Eversense. If you guys want to check it out, feel free to check it out on the Eversense website. You guys can use my code N3V for a discount on these blades, and you can also use them on any gamma trimmer. So that's another reason why I really like this blade right here. But like I said, it's definitely a hitter if you guys want a new modified blade for your gamma trimmers. And here I'm just going behind my client's ear, again keeping it as natural as possible. That way when I blend out the nape area, I already have a foundation line set. And I'm gonna go ahead and use my Gamma Rebel shaver just to take all of that stubble down to the skin. And for the final step, I'm gonna use no guard lever closed. And this is the new SPX 3 blade by Eversense as well, made specifically only for babyless clippers. So if you guys do want to check out this blade, like I said, feel free to head over to the Eversense website and you can use my code N3V for a discount. And now I'm just going to take my trimmers to flick out that skin line into the stubble. And with those few simple steps, I was able to achieve a nice blurry blowout taper. And if you guys are new to the channel, feel free to subscribe. I do drop weekly barber tutorials. And if there's any haircuts you guys want to see, just drop them in the comments and I'll get them out for you guys. And now I'm going to go ahead and repeat the same exact steps on the left side of my client's head. First, creating my initial guideline, followed by no guard lever all the way open. And I don't blend out this guideline at the beginning, I like to blend it out at the end. So I'm going to follow this guideline using the 2 guard all the way open, taking it up about another inch. And after I set that guideline in, I'm going to blend it out, making sure I roll that comb off of the parietal ridge. And it's very important that you guys do this, that way you don't cut up into the crown area. And I'm going to blend out that middle guideline using the blur guard all the way open. And I'm just going to gradually start to shorten my cutting stroke as I close that lever. And little by little, you guys will start to see your guideline fade and disperse away. And to finish up that taper, no guard lever all the way closed. And with this SPX 3 blade, it is 0 gapped, so I can cut all the way down to the skin with it, effortlessly taking out that last guideline. And I'm just using the corner of my blade to really refine this blend and get it as blurry as possible. So now that I have that taper complete, I'm going to go ahead and create the C-cups. using my modified ES5 blade. And like I said, this blade can be used on any of the gamma trimmers, which is a plus. But it's very sharp. As you guys can see, I was able to effortlessly carve in those C cups, as well as line up the nape area on my client without causing no irritation to his skin. That's another thing you guys got to be careful with whenever using a zero gapped trimmer, especially if you're, cutting kids, just because you don't want to irritate their skin or leave any marks. So always test the trimmers on yourself before you use them on your client. That way you don't nick or cut their skin. But when they are properly set, just how these are, you can get a very nice crispy line without causing no irritation to the skin. If you guys have learned anything in this tutorial so far, I do appreciate any feedback, so feel free to hit that like button and drop a comment letting me know what you guys want to see next. And we are on the road to 250k subscribers, so thank you guys so much. I do appreciate each and every one of you guys who does tune into my videos. So now that I have the left side and the right side of my taper complete, as well as lining up the nape, I'm gonna go ahead and just do some detail work, ensuring that I can get both sides as blurry as possible before I move on to the back. And I always just like to come back and double check my work, really ensuring that I could, give my client the most detailed cut possible. And not only will your client appreciate it, but this will increase your chances of retainment on getting that client back in your chair. And now to start off the back taper, I'm basically going to be doing the same exact steps that I did on the sides. So I'm going to create this first guideline with my trimmers right beneath my client's earlobe. That way I can have enough space to really create a nice blurry blend. And you guys want to make sure that this first guideline is symmetrical on both sides, just because a clean symmetrical guideline will equal a clean symmetrical fade. So just keep that in mind. You want to make sure that it's nice and consistent before you start blending into the hair. And with this first guideline, as always, no guard lever all the way open. I'm bringing it up about an inch right above my trimmer section. And just as I made that trimmer guideline consistent, I'm doing the same thing with the clippers, ensuring that it's all even before I move on to my next step. And now I'm taking the number 2 guard all the way open. So the clippers are cutting the hair down to a 2.5 guard length. And I'm just following this guideline, doing some clipper over comb, leaving that same guard on. And I really like this step right here because you can maintain a lot of the bulk while still leaving a clean canvas for the fade. So with the blur guard lever all the way open, this is now cutting the hair down to a 1.5 guard length. And this is really gonna create the contrast of the fade and make the blend happen between the 0.5 and the 1.5. So just be patient with this step. Some hair texture is gonna be thicker than others and may take a little bit more time to blend out, especially if your client has hair growing in different growth patterns, just how my client does right here. Some of his hair is growing in different directions. So that's one thing you guys always want to make sure you pay attention to whenever cutting hair. Always pay attention to the growth pattern of your client's hair. That way you know how to angle the clipper and attack the hair properly. And you guys can see that it's gradually starting to fade away as I'm closing that lever. And for the final step, I'm gonna go ahead and do no guard lever all the way closed. So the clippers are cutting the hair down to a 00 length right here, and they are zero gapped like I said, which makes it that much easier just to flick out this guideline into the 0.5. And instead of closing the lever, I'm now going to be opening it, opening my cutting stroke as well, just flicking out any last dark areas that I see. And this is probably the most important step right here, just because this is really what, you know, blends the skin into the stubble, into the fade. So just be patient with it. Barbering is all about having patience and consistency with, you know, knowing how to properly create a blend and execute a good haircut. So now that I have the taper in the back complete, I'm going to take my trimmers, just knocking off any flyaways that need to be cut. And I'm going to go ahead and take my razor blade, bringing that blade up against the grain of the hair on the C-cups. And this is really just going to make the haircut pop that much more, giving more contrast to the taper. And I'm taking that razor blade behind my client's ear as well. And it's all those little details that you guys put in that are really going to make your haircut stand out and pop. So never be afraid to go back and just, like I said, double check your work and put in all the detail work that you guys can. And when doing this, you guys always want to make sure to stretch the skin. That way you don't nick your client or cause no irritation to the skin. And just like that, you guys can see how much more the taper pops out after I did some razor work to the haircut. And here, just going over the taper with the Gamma Rebel shaver, cleaning up any stubble that needs to be cut down to the skin. And I'm just taking my trimmers, that way I can blend that skin into the stubble. Just going over my guidelines one more time, ensuring that everything's in place and sharp as possible. So now that I have the taper complete on the sides as well as the back, I'm gonna go ahead and thin out my client's hair on the top. He didn't want to take off that much length. He just wanted to create a little more volume and take off some of the weight. So basically I'm gonna do a method with my shears called slicing. And this is basically where you just run the shears at a 45-degree angle through your client's crown area. And it's just taking off some of that bulk. And these are my NevinTheBarber shears. They are made of the highest quality Japanese forged J2 steel. So if any of you guys are interested in purchasing a set, feel free to DM me on Instagram and I will get you guys squared away. But like I said, this is a shear technique that just basically creates more volume and reduces some of the bulk. And after I've taken off some of the bulk from the top, I'm just going to do some shear over comb to blend up into the bulk, ensuring that the taper has a clean transition into the bulk of the hair. And last but not least, I'm just going to go ahead and do some detail work, ensuring that this haircut is as clean as I can possibly get it. And before you guys let your client get out your chair, you will also want to style it for them. That way they know how to properly style their hair. So I'm going to go ahead and apply some of my hairspray, followed by my hair diffuser. and this is basically just reducing all of the frizz and making my client's curls pop out a little bit more. But that is about it for today's barber tutorial. Again, if you guys learned anything, I would appreciate if you hit the like button, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and drop a comment letting me know what you guys want to see next. But it's been your boy Nevin the Barber, and I'm out. I'll see you guys in the next one.